All right. So I've been caught up in like this whirlwind of scripture over the past several years. And it's like the Lord opens my eyes to see things that I never saw before. And maybe you've seen this and maybe you haven't. Maybe you've heard it preached and taught and I haven't. I've been walking this faith walk. I've been following Jesus for about 37 years, maybe 40. I'm not sure. But I've been following him ever since I was a child. And this thing is very interesting to me because for the first time today, I realized that the nativity and birth of Jesus actually prophesy in a parallel parable or analogy or metaphor, if you will, the very things that would happen to him. And you see that a lot throughout the Old Testament where the prophet does something or he's told to do something that is prophesying something else. Well, the nativity of Jesus, his birth, actually prophesies the very thing that would happen to him. Because most people don't realize this. Resurrection is actually being born again. Not just placing your faith in Jesus. See, when you place your faith in Jesus and you make confession, that's conception. You're changed, you're transformed. Just like an ovum in the womb receives a seed from a father. And it's transformed. It's no longer just an ovum. Now it's a living being. And then it has to be planted in the womb. And then after a period of time, it's born again. Right? Because it was first born from an ovary, then it lives its life in the tubes of the water, and it receives a seed from the father, and then it's buried, and then it is born again. Well, Jesus was in the womb of his mother, and he goes to Bethlehem Ephratah in the womb, but there's no room for him there. They reject him. And so he goes and he's laid in a trough amongst animals, which is interesting because the Talmud, Mishnah, and Midrash, which is the oral tradition, teaches that Goyim are animals. The Gentiles are animals. And yet he's laid in a trough amongst animals, which is like after Jesus' death and burial, and resurrection, his new birth, the word is preached among the Gentiles and they receive him. But then this other thing happens. The Magi, who were nobles from other nations, from Gentile nations, come and pay him homage, which is exactly what happened over the last 2,000 years. The nobles, kings and presidents and governors and priests, and all paid him homage. Even Islam declares that he is a holy man. Interesting, right? Anyway, so the nativity of Jesus actually prophesies the very thing that would happen. That he would go to his own people, they would reject him because there's no room, and then it would go to the Gentiles, and they would receive him and pay him homage. Love you guys.